Teen Hot Seats. Today, I have my guest, Mary Truell, here, who is actually very dear to my heart. She was referred to me last summer, I think it was, by a mutual friend, Jessie. And we had a call, and I was like, oh man, I love this girl. I felt alignment. She's so sweet and intelligent and a doer, and I really respect that. And she is working with an organization, Acton Academy, which is basically helping young kids in a school environment really understand their unique abilities and strengths. So I'll let her talk a little bit more about that. Mary, welcome to the hot seat today.
Sure, thanks. Yeah. So after 18 years in the real estate business, I decided to open a private elementary school. So I'm used to doing everything myself. Being a realtor.
How many of us can relate to that, right? Come on.
And like wearing all the hats and doing all the things and going around in circles. So this has been amazing to work with you and actually I feel like it gives, now that I have a real business, gives me credibility to be consistently posting and consistently branding, looking the same all the time, and people can depend on it, and they know the newsletter is coming every week, and I don't have to even think about that stuff. So that's been awesome. Really,
Thank you
really
for
good.
saying that. And I have to use the segue. So what happened was Mary joined Leverage to Scale, and Leverage to Scale, I'll just show, and then we'll get into the hot seat questions. But for those of you who are kind of newer to me or to this community in general, excuse me, Leverage to Scale is a product that I designed a year and a half ago that trains your assistant how to do all of your content marketing for you with very little involvement from you. Now, we do have some members that don't have an assistant, so they just learn how to optimize all this stuff themselves, and they do it themselves still, because the training based on the experience that I have had in the online world over the past 15 years teaches you little details of how to optimize your content in a way that the average business owner would just never know about, right? Unless this was like your world and you were going into it hard and wanted to learn everything about it. Most business owners want to stay away from this stuff, rightfully so. So that was the value in Leverage to Scale, is why don't I teach you or your assistant how to do all of this stuff for you? And one of the biggest values that I found, Mary, is in the social media aspect, because everybody wants to know, how do I attract in more qualified leads? How do I grow this following of the right type of people coming in? And you've actually had a really interesting experience of combining Leverage to Scale with Facebook ads to get better local results, which we may or may not talk about today. But Leverage to Scale, the last thing I'll say about this, you can watch a little demo of it and all the stuff here. I came up with this tagline today, a year and a half in, which just speaks to the fact that your business is always growing and evolving. It's always changing. So if you're the person that's like, but it has to be perfect before I do anything else, gotta let go of that mentality now. The tagline I came up with this morning, though, is free yourself. And when I think about you, Mary, you were doing it all. And now even just having a structure to your marketing, I can hear you saying, it frees me up and it adds my credibility. So anyway, thank you for sharing that. I didn't know you were going to do that. I appreciate
it. So, and I also, when I started Leverage to Scale, I've told you this, I binge watched all of your 5-minute little bit short tip videos. And so my first question for you is actually maybe more of off of one of your 5-minute tips, because I'm wondering, as a business owner, when there's big goals and small goals and things that you have to do and things that you should do. So it's more about, okay, the things that you should do.
Yeah.
How do you personally become accountable? Do you have, because I know you and I have both been in mastermind groups and, that kind of thing. But are you always in a mastermind group? Do you have an accountability partner that you have a phone call with every week? Or you personally, what do you do to stay on track?
Sorry. I'm still like recovering from this 5-week pneumonia cold thing, and it's like enough already. But anyway, so sorry about the coughing. So what I hear you asking is, at this stage of business, how are we holding ourselves accountable? What relationships do we have with maybe coaches or accountability groups or masterminds to keep us on track? How are we managing all of the stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Really great question. And by the way, for those of you who are watching, if you can resonate with that, can you just put like, hell yes in the comment, or yes, if that offends you in some way? I don't want to offend anybody, but I think everybody is asking this question. I have assistants on my team asking this question. I have colleagues running multi-million-dollar businesses asking this question. So like, nobody's exempt from wondering, how do I do it all? And I will say that as a business owner, you just get presented with new challenges the more you grow your organization. So it's not like it gets easier, and it's not necessarily that it gets harder. In some ways it gets easier, in some ways it gets harder, but it's more just that you have new challenges. And so the productivity or the accountability that I have to have today is different than it was even 5 years ago. So I will tell you that me personally, I am subscribed to one person's email list, and that is Donald Miller of StoryBrand, except it's not a StoryBrand email list. It's his Business Made Simple series. It's a daily video that talks about how to think in your business. Love it. Been subscribed almost a year. I think it's fantastic. That's it. I'm not subscribed to anybody else's list. I am not a part of a mastermind group, and I'm not sure that I actually ever have been a part of a mastermind group. I have shown up here and there in different circles. And so I definitely have a wide network. But I've never like committed long-term to something like that. I don't have a weekly accountability call. I don't have colleagues that I check in with, nothing like that. And so for me, Mary, I feel like I am hypersensitive to input. Like even light, sound, the amount of emails, the amount of notifications, the amount of lists I'm subscribed to, I start to feel like completely overwhelmed when it gets to a certain point, when I have just too much data and input coming at me. And so I actually really isolate myself from a lot of that stuff, which means that I've really had to learn how to be self-accountable. And for me, what's happened is a lot of people don't know this about me, but I spent the first 19 years of my life not being accountable, not really taking responsibility, not feeling like a good person, like not the Amber you see today. And so I actually feel like I had a really hard time learning these things. But part of my self-accountability actually comes from that experience of not liking myself, where now I really want to like who I am. I want to be proud of myself. And when I have a pile of things stacking up that I just don't do, I don't like myself. I don't like choosing to get behind. I don't like it when I let other people down because I said I was going to do one thing and then I didn't do it. Like that doesn't feel good inside for me. And it's not that I'm self-absorbed so much as I just want to be somebody like I'm really proud of, that it feels good. It feels clean and light and airy. And so when I started focusing on how can I just feel good about myself, I didn't have to worry about the rest because I do what I say I'm going to do. I don't take on a commitment unless I'm sure I can handle it. I have clear expectations, clear communication, and I'm there for a lot of people. My responsibility is through the roof. So I don't know, maybe this is a very unconventional answer, but maybe look inward and think, is this something that I could tweak inside of me to where joining masterminds and coaching becomes something that I get to do because I want to be around those people who are challenged in my thinking, but it's not necessarily like they have to help me make sure I get stuff done.
Yeah.
That makes sense? Yeah. How does that feel for you when I say all of that?
No, that's good. I knew you'd have a different answer than everybody else because you always do.
I'm going to choose to see that as a good thing. I love it. Thank you.
Okay. So my other question was landing pages. I think I've asked you a little bit about this before, but I guess I find a hard time like paying for them.
Rightfully so.
I mean, like ClickFunnels, I think is the cheapest version is like $100 a month. And I don't even know, what do you get? One page, maybe two. I have one landing page, but I guess I don't quite understand how I should be utilizing it. It's just out there, not doing much.
That's not good.
I know. And right now I'm using my school tour, like schedule a school tour, because that's where I really want what I want people to do.
Yes.
But I have another landing page that's it's /parenting on my site, Acton Academy NH.org/parenting. And it's like sign up for a parenting newsletter kind of thing, or like tip. Yeah. But I don't really drive traffic there much.
Well, why not?
I don't know.
Okay. That's fair, right? So many of us have stuff that we've created and then we get it all the way ready and then we just like move on. It's like sometimes it could be we're addicted to the challenge and the learning, and we always have a tendency to do things that are harder, because the easy thing would be just market this now and see what happens, right? It could be something in there, or it could just be like there's so many things going on you haven't gotten around to it yet. I mean, so no judgment on it, but now we're looking at it and we think, okay, here's something that it's worth testing. So you could drive some Facebook ads to it. You could just start putting it into the mix regularly, like in the Leverage to Scale social media module. And I'll just show this to you really fast. So you can see exactly where we talk about it. In the social media module, we have like our foundational content that we teach you to do. This is really just to make sure that you are, attracting in an audience and you're connecting with them. They're answering questions. You're kind of engaging with them. Sometimes this layer of social media is important to show that you're a credible expert, which is what's happening to you, but maybe people aren't engaging as much. That's what happens with me. I don't get a whole lot of engagement in the way that other brands do, but I know for sure people are watching and paying attention. So sometimes our audience just isn't going to comment, and we have to keep that consistency going anyway. Then the next layer is you're baking in stories. So stories of students or experiences that are happening within Acton. And it's this piece here that now you're adding in offers. Now this can be your schedule a school tour offer, but it can also now be your parenting opt-in offer. And then you have these supporting assets where you are sharing testimonials, you're sharing any other social proof. And of course, we go into details on what that is inside of this Leverage to Scale training. But if you kind of mix those three things together, you really will, it'll just be like on autopilot almost, where it's like, okay, now I need to schedule a couple of posts this week to drive parents to this new landing page. Totally get what you were saying about ClickFunnels. I don't think it's necessary. I think you have a lot of questions in this one, but I will say this, that, and that's okay. I will say that ClickFunnels lead pages really was designed for somebody that like has absolutely no, well, okay. Lead pages was designed for somebody that has absolutely no technical ability. And it's like, I just need something up because I'm told that I should have landing pages. That's really who lead pages is for. ClickFunnels is a much more sophisticated audience that is also, I think that really savvy people like ClickFunnels because of their analytics. You can track how people are moving through the funnel more easily than you can on your own website. It is more technical. And some people still use it because they think that's easier than using their own website. And depending on how that website was built, that could be true. I have never used a third-party system for my landing pages. And so this is an example of one of my landing pages on my own website. It's very simple. How to attract qualified buyers and grow your following. This is what you're going to discover. This is a little video from me so we can build a personal connection. And I'm telling you what this training is all about and why it's beneficial. And then boom, you just set up the opt-in offer. That's literally it. I have another one about books. And you'll see, like, once you design the first one, you just clone it. I changed the background image, but this one's how to launch and leverage your book for long-term sales success. Different video because it's a different training. And then the last one that we're promoting really hard right now is this one. You'll notice different backgrounds, same concept, different video, how to convert qualified buyers with your website. So once you create it once, you simply just clone it. And then when you look at my success page, so after somebody opts in, they're going to get like a welcome email and stuff like that. They're going to get a simple automated email series, but then they get redirected to this page where there's just a little welcome message from me. That welcome message is the same on all 3 courses. There's always going to be that option to book a discovery call with me. Then they get into the meat of the training. This particular one is 40 minutes long. Custom. I mean, I go through, see if it even shows here. My internet might be like, I don't want to do this because there's too much going on with your bandwidth right now. But basically this video is just how the same thing I teach in Leverage to Scale. I made an outline and I just recorded what I thought everybody needed to know based on how to convert with your website, created a simple little couple worksheets that people could fill out. And then this ending, I think is the same for all 3 courses. So really it's just the middle that's different and the worksheets that are different. And then people can download my pricing menu or schedule a call because I always want that to be my main call to action, whereas yours would be schedule a school tour, right? So basically I created one course and then just used that to quickly create the other 2. Really the only thing I had to do differently was this middle part. Now I have 3 opt-in offers. Now, Mary doesn't necessarily need 3 opt-in offers. Amber does because I sell websites, so I have a website course. I sell Leverage to Scale, so I have a marketing course. I sell book launch services, so I have a book launch course, right? So if you have multiple different topics or different audiences, that would determine how many opt-in offers you need. But if you have one business, one message, one audience, maybe you only need a really great one, or you could survey your audience and see what other topics they might be interested in and start to create multiple opt-in offers, but only create ones that you actually feel your audience genuinely wants and needs, as opposed to maybe I just need to be busy. And so I'll just stay in the busy lane and keep busy. Okay. That's not necessary. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
So around landing pages, though, were there anything else that you wanted to cover? Was that helpful?
Yes, that was helpful. And I think that's similar to my last question. I know we're running out of time, was just about like those Facebook posts that you make that are, hey, comment below and you'll be in the drawing to win this book.
Yeah.
But I mean, that could be one of the offers. Schedule a school tour. Like I'll mail you the book about the school, or a phone call or something like that. Like just all giving more information, but at different levels. I don't know.
Yeah. So the post that she's talking about on Facebook, there is a popular trend right now where it's like, I have a checklist or an ebook or a video or something, and comment below if you want it, and I'm going to send it to you in Messenger, is usually how it goes. So then people comment like, heck yeah, I want that parenting guide. And so then it gives you an opportunity to then go through Facebook Messenger and say, hey, Pam, thanks for raising your hand. Here's a link to access the free guide. And the goal is, though, you don't stop there. That's your opportunity now that you're in a conversation to say, so tell me more about how you discovered me. Are you in the local area? And what ages are your children? Oh God, I love that age. Well, so what are you struggling with when it comes to school, or what questions do you have? Oh, have you looked at the Acton website yet? Well, this is what we do and what makes us different. And hey, why don't you just schedule a parenting tour and I can even mail you out something in advance to look at. And so then what happens is you convert right there. So it's less about just getting an opt-in and hopefully eventually someday that'll turn into something, as opposed to it's more like, let's take action now. I personally, we did test that. It wasn't very effective for my audience. And first of all, I'd have to have somebody else manage that because I don't have time to have that kind of conversation just to see if somebody's qualified. So I instead taught my team how to do that, which is great. Absolutely can happen. But I don't know. Have you tested that before? I'm not sure. I feel like that's going to be successful for you.
I know. I think some of the other Acton Academies have done stuff like that.
They have? Have they seen success with it?
Ish.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just people that want free stuff. And I guess I was wondering if it would be more of like an audience builder for making, lookalike audiences and things like that. Like, hey, these people raise their hands. Yeah.
This is totally not what you were asking about, but something that just came through, and I always trust that. I wonder if you couldn't, and maybe we could do it together, but if you couldn't put together a system and a structure for referrals. So finding out what your parents value the most, and it might not even be money, might be something else. Maybe it's something for their kid. I don't know. Maybe it's an experience. But the point is that when you take on a new parent, if there's a formal protocol for how you go about asking for referrals, following up, initiating conversations so that you're teaching parents how to ask their friends if they are searching for a new school for their kids or sharing their experience. I wonder, and you might already have something loosely formed, but there's always an opportunity to make it really like a black and white process where you're showing, like there could even be when Pam refers Jennifer and Jennifer comes in for a school tour, while you're giving the school tour, you did make a little video of like, hey, Jennifer, let's just say hi to Pam while we're here together. Then you share that with the original person. So the original person's like, wow, that's really cool. And that reinforces like, maybe I should do this for other people. So that's an example of having something systematized. I wonder if that could be a way for you to grow more quickly than even like a giveaway opportunity on social media.
Yeah, right. Make it more local based word of mouth, which is really what Acton grows on. But
gotta tell you, the fastest, most powerful form of advertising is word of mouth. I was just talking to one of my team members today, and I'm pretty sure we have like an 80% word of mouth rate. I always say 60% because I don't like, I don't ever want to over exaggerate something. But like when I look at our current active client list, it's almost all referrals. And do you know the pressure that takes off of me knowing there's just consistent leads coming in every single week? Because we have a process in place for that and because we do great work and so do you. So that's why I'm wondering like maybe double down there.
Yeah, that's good. Right. And then you get better quality leads too.
And it's so much easier. It's so much easier because their friend had a really good experience. So I guess I can trust you. I don't have to prove anything except what I do have to do, which is circling back to the beginning, stay consistent with my baseline marketing efforts. Because of the fact that Mary is such a freaking rock star at videos and getting herself out there, parents always, they're going to Google you. They're going to look at your platform. And when they see like, oh, she's so nice, or, oh, I love this content, I feel safe. Okay, Pam said I should, so I'm just going to pull the trigger and do it. It helps reinforce that decision every single time. So, I mean, honestly, Mary, of all the members, you rise to the top of one of the members that I'm most proud of for just what's shifted ever since we've known each other. I mean, you're like such a doer. It's awesome.
Thanks. So, okay. Well, how are we doing on time?
How do you feel about that? What was your biggest aha out of today?
I think it was on.
I know we covered a lot. It happens fast. Right. Half an hour is like, what? We were only talking 5 minutes here.
No. Yeah, I think my biggest aha is doing the, I don't know, it all was good. I really like your,
You can say it all was good. That works for me. I mean, I
think my biggest aha is that you are so successful in doing so much great stuff in the world and you don't have an accountability partner. It kind of like, I feel like I have this pressure on me from all of the business coaches and podcasts and things that I, saturate myself with. That is all about, you need to have somebody else around to keep you focused. And that's not necessarily true. So
I will say that I do have a mentor, and we have calls from time to time, but I don't even look at that as accountability. I hire that mentor and work with him because he's changing the way I think. That's it. Yeah. I am very much out of what do I have to do and into how do I have to think, and creating more space for myself to think, because I found myself like exhausted from the busyness and trying to keep up with the Joneses online. And it's like, I don't have to do that. I have to do what I know works for my people and what works for me. And, so I do think that there's value in education and saturating yourself from time to time, but I think it's also important to take a breath from it, and there are certain communities that you're going to feel like, this is the one, like my Don Miller, right? Like I will not give up that daily series because it does too much for me. So figure out the 1 or 2, maybe 3 places that you feel that and you don't feel overwhelmed by it, and stay there. Then once a quarter or so, kind of come out and see what else is new and then go back in again, because you have to protect yourself more. This is a message to everybody. We all have to learn how to protect ourselves, because otherwise you'll just burn out. Yeah. I thought this was a really productive conversation, Mary. So thank you for coming to the table today with some really great questions all over the map. Would really love everybody to share a comment on what you found was of value. We'll also put the link to Mary's website below. If you know anybody in the area, any parents, please help her out. Like let's be a community that supports each other. And free yourself. Like I'm loving this tagline. Go to Leverage to Scale and learn how to free yourself from the busyness, at least in your marketing. And Mary, I just want to thank you again for your time today. We'll see everybody next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.